Hello and welcome to Back to Basics with Sandra and Lyndall. Today we are talking about marriage, dating apps and awkward first dates.
I'm so excited to go there with you.
I'm excited because our experiences are so different.
Yeah.
You are married
Yep.
and you have been in a relationship for a really long time and I am single and my dating life looks like a dumpster on fire. So
God.
I think this is going to be a pretty interesting conversation.
Yeah. Two polar opposites. But nevertheless, a conversation that needs to be had 100%. So me?
Yes.
We'll go there?
Yeah, we'll go there.
Yeah.
So I think, we wanted to dive into this conversation because I think as women, there's a lot of pressure on us to have it all, right? To have the house, to have the man, to have the kids, to have the career and to show up and be 100% all the time, right? And like I'm 34 now, right? So I'm getting on, you know? And I don't have all of those things. Yeah. And it's so funny. I don't know if you've seen this meme online that's like, do you remember when we used to think that people in their 30s
were old?
Adults?
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is so true.
Yeah.
But I think let's start with you first.
Yeah.
So you've obviously been married for how long?
9 years. We're celebrating our 9-year anniversary in January. Very exciting. Going to Fiji to celebrate.
Very cute. Very cute. So tell me about how you met your husband. Like, how did you know that he was the one?
Oh my God. So it's so funny because I tell people this story and I even told him this story and he's like, you're lying. So I met him through mutual friends, maybe late 2006, but we didn't officiate with the pash until 2007. But
did he actually ask you out? Because I feel like that's the thing. Because you know how these days,
you have to make it official. Yeah.
I'm still that person. Like, you have to ask me out, or it doesn't count.
Yeah, no. Well, I think it would be very difficult these days. Much more than it was back then.
We'll get into that.
We'll get there. But we officially started dating in 2007. And I knew he was the one from the moment I started speaking to him. Like, it's so funny. Yeah, and I was in a relationship before him, obviously, with someone else. But I don't know, it's just we just connected and he was just like that great friend to have. Like, he was always there to listen to me. He just he was in his partying zone as well at that time. I was in going in a relationship as well. But we just we just connected and I was like, I'm going to marry him. I knew it. I just knew. I was like, this is the guy I'm going to settle down with. Like, all these other
can't relate.
all these other, F boys can just hang around. But this is the guy that I'm going to end up with. And I went to a psychic. I actually went to a Greek psychic, this old lady in a little unit in Campsie. And I was like, oh, this is dodgy, but I went anyway. And she actually said to me, there is a boy in your life who is just your friend and he wants more, but you're not ready yet, but you're going to end up marrying him. And I was like, okay, weird.
Give me her number. I'm going to have to go to
She's
Kempsey,
probably
guys.
dead by now. But it ended up happening and we've been together. Yeah, we've been together 14 years, married for 9, 2 beautiful kids. The checkbox. So let's talk about the checkbox because, coming out of school, I think growing up in a culture where even my family, it's all about what job you have. What did you go to uni? What degree did you have? How much money are you earning? What does your partner do? Is your boyfriend successful? What car does he drive? My husband had none of those things. He didn't check any box besides he was the most beautiful personality you could ever meet. And everyone that meets him now just says, oh my God, your husband's amazing. And I'm like, I am too, but it's
me?
true. Yeah. But we grew together. We set up those things together. I didn't go to him because he ticked all those boxes. He didn't tick anything in terms of the materialistic stuff, but we
handle your personality. That's a pretty big box to tick.
It's massive, right? That's triple boxes. But we've the check boxes are really important to a lot of people, and still now people are still trying to tick those boxes. But we've got a 2-bedroom apartment in Campsie. We've got 2 kids. We both drive pretty average cars. We don't have to have the best of everything, but he's still the person that I want to experience everything with, and we literally, we grow together and we make do together. And it's not it's very 50-50. It's not, you know, I bring home the money, he brings home the money. We share responsibility of the kids. Like everyone's like, how do you do everything? Because, you know, working full time, running a business, doing this sort of stuff, doing the photo shoots, and then going out on the weekends. Like, how do you do it? And I said, because we share.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we do everything together. We're in this together.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important. I honestly don't know. And it's a lot of women these days are single. And I don't even know. I said to you when we were talking about this, I said, if I wasn't with my husband right now, I wouldn't be with anyone. And like, over to you, like how, because when I met you a few years ago, you were coming out of a very tough relationship. You were going through a lot. All our PT sessions were about this relationship. So
it was like a therapy session.
It was, but it was
PT
every
session.
time I was mind blown every single conversation we had. So let's go there.
Yeah, look, for me, the bar has been set pretty high.
Yeah.
Like my parents are high school sweethearts. They've been together forever.
Yeah.
They're best friends. They do everything. And
So cute.
they're the happiest couple.
Yeah.
And I look at them and I'm like, is this the unicorn?
Yeah.
Like, does this even exist anymore? You know what I mean? And they never fight. Like I've never seen them fight in front of me. And the reason for that is my dad's parents always fought in front of him, and they were like quite violent in front of him. And they obviously divorced. And he always said, I never want to fight in front of the kids.
Yep, makes sense.
The only time I ever remember them having a fight, so to speak, was when they'd give each other the silent treatment. And that was how they would fight.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing I can remember.
Yeah.
So that's what I have to look up to.
I know.
You know, that's the bar has been set so high, and that's why I think dating's been really difficult for me as well. And when we met, I was coming out of a long-term relationship. We were living together. I honestly thought that this was the one, right? We had been friends since we were teenagers. You know, and he was dating other people, I was dating other people, just never kind of happened. We kind of liked each other, but it just never really kind of happened. Anyway, when it did happen, we moved in with each other really quickly because we were already really comfortable with each other. So we were living with each other. We ended up getting 2 dogs and just living our lives together. And then after about 3 years, he woke up one day and said, I don't love you anymore.
Wow.
Yeah. And I didn't see it coming. I thought
You didn't see it coming?
He was getting a little bit, like he was pulling back a little bit, but he would always do that when he got really stressed with work.
Okay.
So I thought, you know, it's just been a stressful year. He's just stressed. I booked us a holiday to Fiji. I thought we've just got to get to this holiday. You know, we'll have a great time together and then everything will be great, right? So anyway, he broke up with me. I didn't see it coming. It was a huge shock because I just poured all of my money into setting up Squad Gym. So I just obviously didn't budget in having to find a new apartment, moving out, all of that sort of. I was sleeping on Renee's couch, my business partner. I was sleeping on her couch for a little bit, and I've never had to do that before. So it was a little bit scary, a little bit confronting, and I really didn't have any direction. I didn't know what to do. But what I did know was that I just wanted to take my dogs. That was all I wanted.
Yeah.
You know, after all of that, you know, the trauma, everything, I said, you can have everything in the house.
Yeah.
I don't want anything, but I want my dogs.
And they're beautiful dogs.
They're like my kids.
Yeah.
Right. I know you talk about your kids, like my dogs are like my kids.
Yeah.
Right. And he was like, no, you're not taking them, you know, we'll separate them. And that in itself was traumatic because they were upset, the dogs were upset, you know, they were fretting, all of this sort of stuff. And that didn't work out. So eventually we had shared custody of these dogs.
Oh my God. Do you think that was his way of having some sort of control over you still?
Yes. Yeah. And this lasted for like a year.
Yeah, wow.
You know, I moved into, you know, various different share houses throughout this point, and we were still having shared custody, which made it really hard to heal from that because he was still there, you know, in my life. And every now and then he would kind of dangle a carrot and say, I miss you. I think I made a mistake. And, you know, that made it really hard because I was like, are you in or are you out?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Yep.
And then, probably about a year later, he got himself a new girlfriend, and I got this long-winded text message one day that said, you can have the dogs, you know, don't need them anymore. You know, like he basically found something better.
I was moving on.
And I kind of thought, after all of that.
Yeah.
You put me through all of that.
Yeah.
You know, and you didn't have to do any of that. But the funniest thing was, though, that for the next couple of years, whilst he was in a relationship with this woman, he would, because I blocked him on every device, he would send me, you know, emails and just be like, you know, I had a dream about you. I miss you. I want to see the dogs, this and that. And I was like, the audacity.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, respect the confidence, but absolutely not.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely
not. And that
not.
poor girl that was in a relationship with him as well.
They're still together.
Oh, wow. Okay, maybe.
Hope you're watching this. So be careful.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was probably a good 5 or so years ago.
Yeah.
So it's been quite a long while. And since then has been the whole dating experience, which I think is so weird now that I'm in my 30s. Right? Because I think when you're in your late teenage years, your early 20s, you go out to a club.
And you meet people on the dance
get
floor.
Drunk. Yeah. You make out with some guy on the dance floor and then immediately your
boyfriend, girlfriend.
Immediately though. And that's how it happened, right? Yeah. When you're in your 30s, you know, you've got this structure in your life. You've got certain processes that you do. Yeah. You're busy. And if someone doesn't fit that mold.
It's like a jigsaw. Yeah.
Right? If somebody doesn't fit that mold, sorry, I don't have time for you.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not that I'm being picky or I don't think I'm picky at all. Like, honestly, if you just text me back, like, you know, I'd be happy with that. Like, the bar's pretty low at this point in time.
Yeah.
But it's so different. And I know we're going to talk about, you know, meeting people organically, both partners and, you know, making friends as well. But it's so hard these days. Like, even COVID aside, you just don't really talk to people when you're out.
No.
I know when I go out, it's to catch up with my friends or my family, and you're there for the sole purpose of catching up with these people.
Existing relationships.
You know, if somebody kind of like comes over to introduce yourself, I'm like, are you lost? You know, it's kind of strange because we're just not used to that. Like, I remember I went to Italy. Like right after that breakup, actually, I went to Europe and I was like, this is going to be my rediscover myself holiday. And I went by myself and I went to Italy and I was standing at the Trevi Fountain and it was like 5 or 6 p.m. at night. And this guy came up to me and introduced, and he started talking to me and I just clutched my handbag because I was like, this dude's going to steal my handbag. But he wasn't. He was just
trying to have a conversation with you.
He was trying to have a conversation with me and he's like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, sorry, like this just doesn't happen in Australia. Like people just don't come up and introduce themselves.
No.
Like it's, and we actually went out to a bar and had a few drinks and it was actually a really nice guy, but it was such a weird experience that I'm just not used to. So I guess my experience with dating is really circulated around dating apps, which I think is like the new way to meet people.
My God.
And honestly, it's just a disaster.
Is it? Tell me. I want to know because obviously I've been in a relationship for a very long time. I didn't have to go through the apps.
No, don't do it.
Literally, you know how you were saying that you meet people at clubs? Me and my husband, my now husband, we pashed at Future Music Festival and that's how we officiated our relationship, right?
I probably pashed someone at Future Music Festival too, but I don't remember it.
And you're not married to them now. But tell me about that. Tell me about the apps because I know that, like you say, you know, the worst dating experiences come from the dating apps and stuff. Yeah. But is it really like that? And I really want to know because you see a photo, right? And then you can either swipe left or swipe right. And then like with you, do you ever have that experience where they, like say you've been chatting to someone and then they meet you and they're like, oh my God, like she's got tattoos and she's like this bigger curvy girl and like, you know, do you ever see that?
Look, I've tried all of the dating apps.
Okay.
Like just, you know, to give it a go. Like surely there's got to be one fish in this pond somewhere. There hasn't been yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a really interesting experience. And look, probably 10% of the time, maybe, the conversations that you'll have will actually result in a date.
Okay.
Because not that I'm picky, but I strongly feel that you should approach a conversation online like you would in person.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like men get this like immediate confidence because they're sitting behind a computer, right? And they'll, you know, just their first message is like, hey, sexy, hey, babe. And I immediately get the ick when somebody addresses me like that and I don't know them. Yeah. And so I'm like, see ya. Mm-hmm. And that is so common.
Yeah.
right? But I think when I actually get to the point where, you know, we're going on a date, and sometimes that takes a little while because you kind of got to go through the process of having all of that small talk to make sure that we're, you know, we've got things in common and, you know, make sure they're not the next Jeffrey Dahmer because fuck that.
Because everyone is.
But it's true though. Like, and also I think we're at this point in our life where we don't want to waste time.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? If you don't fit into my mold, I don't have time for you. I'm sorry, but I don't. And I would assume that they would feel the same way. Yeah. Right. So, you know, if we get to that kind of point and we go on a date, well, you know, that's great. And to be honest, I haven't had a bad experience going on a date with anybody.
Okay, that's good.
There's been a lot of instances where it maybe hasn't gone to a second date or, you know, whatever, and that's fine. But I've never had a bad date.
Okay.
And I know some people have.
Yeah.
Like, my best friend, as an example, came out of a 6-year relationship a couple of years back, and she got herself on dating apps, and she was like, is this what it's like?
Oh,
and I was like, welcome to the circle. Welcome. Anyway, the first date that she went on, she got out of the cab at the restaurant and went to message him to say, I'm here. And he'd unmatched her. And she didn't get his number or anything. And that was her first experience.
That's
and
horrible.
I felt so horrible for her. She was so upset. And I've never had anything like that happen to me. So I feel like I'm a little bit grateful in that regard. But yeah, I guess my worst, look, I've got a few bad dating stories, but the one that's PG, the one that's PG is one happened a few years ago, and I remember it was January, so it was like really hot.
Yes.
And
oh no.
Yes. And it was just one of those really hot days where the wind was hot and it was really muggy and it was and I'm just like, I'm a sweater. So like immediately Niagara Falls from the upper lip, you know, like it's happening. And he took me to this restaurant at the Tram Sheds. I think it was called the Butcher's Block, I want to say. No, and it's a heritage building, so they didn't have aircon.
Oh my
But they had these enormous fans going, which was just blowing around hot air. So you can imagine me like sitting across from this guy trying to look like, you know, hot, like sexy. And I'm just like, my eyebrow is dripping onto my cheek. Like it was just, I was so uncomfortable. And, you know, you've got the napkin and you're trying to like dab your face and trying to look sexy at the same time. It's just not happening, right? So it was already a disaster from the beginning. Anyway, he kind of sat next to me and he goes, oh, you're a little bit bigger than I expected.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, okay. Like, luckily I'm not easily offended. Like, it doesn't really bother me. And I was like, okay. And he's like, yeah, like you've got big legs, but they're like you kind of look like you've got like the same sort of body as my ex-girlfriend. And I was like, wow, you need to stop talking. Like the more you talk, the worse this gets for you. Like, and he tried to like backpedal out of it because he knew he kind of messed up. I was like, oh no, but you know, I'm into that. And I was like, oh, just stop. Like, stop talking. Anyway, I could not finish my meal fast enough at that point. But also the questions that he was asking me were quite intrusive as well. Like, you know, like we just sat down and he's like, so do you want to have kids?
Yeah.
And that's fine to ask, but like, can I just order a cocktail first?
Wow.
Like, can I just order the entree? Like, Jesus Christ. Like,
so maybe men also have a checkbox list thing that they want to achieve.
I think they do, but like there's a time and place and like let's kind of just gently ease into that conversation rather than just like straight into it. So I was just kind of like really put off that whole kind of date. And, you know, as soon as he like paid the bill, I was like, see ya. And that was kind of done for that. But I mean, if that is like my worst experiences, I'm sure
that's not too bad.
I'm sure there's been
insulting, but it's not too bad. Yeah.
I had one guy actually that wanted to move in with me right before COVID as well. So that was another interesting time. He decided that he wanted to move in with me because he got made redundant right before COVID.
Oh my goodness.
And I never even met this guy. So honestly, the list of hilarious dating stories that I have that maybe I can't share on this podcast is quite hilarious. I think a lot of my friends actually really look forward to having lunch with me and catching up with me because they're like, tell me the tea. You can tell me the tea about your dating life because it's so hilarious. And I have to agree with them, you know, because if I wrote a book, like people wouldn't believe
the stuff that you would put in there. I know.
But yeah, dating apps are a time. But you know, on the other side, I know a lot of people that have been really successful in finding a long-term partner or, you know, actually marrying someone from a dating app as well. Yeah. So always a bridesmaid, never a bride at this point, but, you know, we'll get there.
You will.
We will get there. So tell me, what was dating like before you met your husband?
I was a long-term girlfriend kind of person.
Yeah.
And I think
I'm a hoe.
Are you?
No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
So we're like, I was in long-term relationships and I had a very traumatic experience with one of my relationships. So back when I was growing up, religion was a massive thing. Growing up. So I went to a Catholic school.
Yeah.
And if you dated anyone that wasn't Catholic, it was like, what's going on? You were like the black sheep of your friendship circle or whatever, right? So obviously me being the rebellious person that I was, I got into a relationship with people that weren't like my religion, which is Hindu and, you know, or Christian or Catholic,
even think
right?
To ask that. You know, like
you wouldn't now, but back then it was massive. It was massive.
There was like, what's your zodiac
sign? Yeah, right. But back then it was like, you know, what religion are you? Blah blah blah. So I was with someone for a very long time, and he actually we were together for ages, and the turning point for me was he actually said, like, I can't be serious with you because you're not the same religion as me.
Really?
And then from then I was like, See ya. But we stayed together because he still wanted to be in that relationship with me, but just not get married or anything, right?
He just wanted to get laid.
Yeah, so wasn't even that.
Really?
It wasn't even that. No, it wasn't even that. It was just like he was in love. We were in love, but he could not commit because he wasn't the same religion. We weren't the same religion. And he still wanted to have control of me while I started going out clubbing, while I started meeting other people and all that. So similar to you, they still want that control. And I actually got a tattoo because he was so against tattoos. I got a tattoo and the tattoo was of the Om symbol, which was, you know, is a Hindu. And it says, take me as I am, because that's
really beautiful.
Yeah. And I was like, if you can't have me because of who I am, then you don't deserve me.
Yeah.
And as soon as I left him, I met my now husband, and
so funny. You just had to like make room. Oh,
make room. And my husband, honestly, like I'm not exaggerating, he loves me completely. Like I've gone through the ugly phases. He's seen me pregnant, exploding like a blimp, like swollen. When I went through my powerlifting phase, when I put on heaps of weight.
And so supportive.
So supportive of everything that I do. And he's always saying yes. He's like, yes, if it makes you happy, do it. If it makes you happy, do it. I'm like, no, just say no. Be resistant. And he won't. Like he's just,
bless him.
He just, you know when they say meet someone that brings out the best in you? Yeah. He actually is that person. Yeah. We fight together. We give each other silent treatment. We get angry at each other every so often, but we come back together. We're like besties, you know? And like even doing this podcast, he's so excited for me. But he accepts me completely.
Yeah.
You know, he's my biggest fan. He loves me whatever size, shape I am. I mean, I have friends whose husbands like tell them to go and lose weight or to like watch what they're eating and whatever, you know, and he's never said that. He's never ever made me feel unpretty, like not beautiful, not sexy. He's always like frothed at me, even when I didn't
you've got another unicorn, babe.
Yeah, right? Even when I didn't feel that I was sexy or whatever, he's never ever made me feel that.
Yeah.
I've always felt it myself by my own doing, by my own looking in the mirror, all that sort of thing. But he's always supported me. So he is the unicorn. He is a unicorn. He is that.
Never break up now.
Yeah, never. That's it. I'm tired. But
I think the difficulty there is when you get older as well, people come with a lot of baggage. You know? And what I mean when I say that is, you know, when you're dating in your mid-30s, you know, people have got past traumas, they're divorced, they've got kids, like they've already got structure in their life that they're not willing to have any flexibility.
The kids part.
The kids part.
Have you dated someone with kids?
I have.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've dated a couple of people that have had kids, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't bother me at all. I remember one scenario, I went and met up with him. and we had lunch with, it was him and his kids. And we had lunch and I was so hungover.
Lyndall's stepmom.
I was so hungover at this lunch. And these kids were just losing it in the restaurant, just running around, screaming. And I'm just sitting there with this like mammoth headache, like dying. And all of these people are looking at me like, why are you not flogging these kids? And I'm like, they're not my kids. And I feel so sick. But yeah, no, having kids, divorce, like none of that bothers me.
Are you going to have kids?
We'll get to that.
Okay.
We'll get to that. None of that bothers me. I think it's about how they have processed it. If they have processed it, you know, if they've gone through past trauma or divorce or whatever, you know, have you actually processed that component of your life? Because if you haven't, I don't want to be the punching bag for whatever trauma you're holding, because I've been through that. And I'm not looking for that. And I think because I don't have any of those things, like, I mean, look, we've all got trauma, right? But I've never been married. I don't have kids. Like, you know, I live in my own house. Like, I'm very fully independent, you know. I don't come with all of that stuff. So if you come with all of that stuff and you put it on me, I'm immediately out, right? And when it comes to having my own kids, I think as well, because I have dated so many people that have had kids, they're done. They're done with that component of their life. But also, you know, my past long-term relationships, I've dated a lot of people that haven't even wanted kids.
Okay.
Right? So throughout my whole 20s, I had 2 long-term relationships and both of those partners, they didn't want kids. Okay. So I guess for me, the decision had already been made. And I was okay with that. Right. I think my mum was the most upset person in that situation, because she really wants grandkids, but she's got 2 dogs as grandkids. That's the best she's going to get. So now I'm kind of at the age where, you know, look, if I find somebody and I have kids, that's great. Right. But if I don't, I wouldn't be upset about it. I love my life. Like, I love my life. I love my career. I love the fact that I can just, like, the other day I just booked tickets to Thailand. You know,
because you can.
Because I can. I just booked 3 weeks in Thailand, and I had dinner with my mum that night. She goes, "Oh, who are you going with?" And I go, "No one."
Oh, bless.
I'm just going by myself. I just want to have some time away. And I can do that. Right. And
meanwhile, I'm looking for like kids club in Fiji so I can put my kids there for a couple of hours. But
fine, you know, like, but also your kids are of the age where you kind of have a little bit more freedom.
Yeah, definitely.
As well. Like my business partner, Renee, her child is about 2.5 now. And she's done with that. She's like, look, he's at a good age now where we can do stuff together. It's fun. Like, I'm not interested in going back.
Don't want to go again.
Not interested in going back to nappies and crying and all of that sort of stuff. So look, if it's on the cards for me, great. If not, also great. But buy me a house that has a yard where I can have like 5 dogs.
and your parents are okay. Like, I know, because we talk about the checkbox and everything, right? So if I didn't get married, if I didn't have kids, all that sort of thing, it would be a massive thing for me. And I think my parents would be very secretive about that. They wouldn't, you know, they would kind of make stuff up to make it out like, oh no, she's focusing on her career now, or you know, she's traveling, kind of a thing. Are your parents like that, or are they accepting of your decisions?
They're pretty accepting. I think they're kind of just so used to me being single now as well. That, you know, they're like, hey, we're going out to dinner. Do you want to come? And I'm like the +1. Whereas my brother has a girlfriend, and so they don't really invite him as much, because then it's like everyone has to come. But I remember an experience in my early 20s where I'd just broken up. I'd broken up with my partner at the time. We'd been dating for a few years, and then I was single for like probably 12 months, right? And I've got a lot of girlfriends. Like, I've got a lot of female friends. You know, we do a lot of stuff together. They would always come over. We'd have sleepovers. We'd do a lot of stuff together. And I remember my mum pulled me aside at one point, and she's like, we just want to let you know that, you know, like we'll still love you if you're like that. And I was like, what are you talking about? And she's like, you know, like, if you're gay, we'll still love you. And I was like, what are you talking about? I'm not gay. I mean, absolute love to all of 100%. My gay, my trans, and my non-binary friends, but I'm straight. But it was just so funny because I was just hanging out with all of my girlfriends.
They just assumed.
They're like, she's a lesbian. She's a lesbian. And such a funny experience. But no, they're totally cool. They're totally chill. Like, I think at the end of the day, as long as I'm happy, as long as I'm safe, you know, they're all about it. I guess one of the funniest experiences I've had was right before the first COVID lockdown. My parents moved home from overseas because my dad retired, and they were going to go traveling for a whole 12 months. So I was like, great, I will move into your house and I will mind your house while you go traveling and this and that. Anyway, I moved into their house, long story short, and we went into lockdown.
Yeah.
Right. So I was essentially stuck with them for a whole 12 months. Great. No, it's fine. I've got a great relationship with my parents. But yeah, I remember when we kind of just came out of the lockdown and I was like, you know, going out with my girlfriends. I was going on dates, you know, because the last couple of years I've been like, you know, on the apps, like, let's find a partner. And I'd get the chat from my mum. Where are you going? What time are you going to be home?
Yeah.
Where are you going? You know, how many people are going to be there?
Yeah.
Like, how did you meet this person? I'm like, what? I'm 34. Like, she's like, and I'm your mother.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And if I was like a little bit late home, I'd get a text message. Where are you? Are you
Aww.
okay? You know, and it's so funny. She's just, they never stop worrying about
No,
me
they
as
won't.
parents. But yeah, especially when I would go out on dates, she'd be like, how did you meet this person?
Aww.
Like, how do you know he's not a serial killer? And I'm like, what does a serial killer look like?
Yeah.
I'm like, honestly.
They don't exactly put it on their profile.
Exactly. Half the time they don't even have anything on their profile. But I guess for you, I mean, as you said before, you're a wife, you're a mom, you're a business owner, you work full time. Do you feel pressure on yourself to manage it all and to give 100% of yourself all the time?
Yeah, you kind of need to be realistic. Like I do all those things, but then I still find that gap where I don't have time to train myself. Yeah. And that's a big thing that I struggle with because you give so much. And it's like you're saying, that hour of a day that you have to give to yourself. I still struggle to find that because your energy is so depleted because you're just constantly giving. You're constantly giving. You know, 6:30 this morning, I had my little one sleeping on me. And I remembered, oh shit, like Flourish is starting today. Grabbed my phone and he's literally sleeping on me. I said to my husband, like, I need to get up, but he just won't get off me. And I'm messaging the girls and I'm like, it's day one. You've got these, like doing that motivational speech, like through their WhatsApp group. Like you're just always on. You're always on. And I'll have these pockets of time where like every 3 months or so I'll just deplete. Like I'll actually like shut down and I'll like for 2 days I'll just be on the couch, like completely depleted. But I'm doing it because I love it. Like I honestly, like I go to the gym and the girls are there waiting for me and I'm like, they need me as much as I need them. Like, cause they give me so much happiness and so much fulfillment and they need me because they don't want to go to a commercial gym, you know? So it's a bit of like, I'm doing it for a greater purpose. So I don't feel like I'm pressured to do it all because I want to do it all.
And I think doing all of those things as well is actually a great way to meet friends. And I know this was something that we were going to talk about as well today.
My God, yes.
You know, meeting and making friends as an adult. I know some people really struggle with it.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
Personally, though, I don't know if it's because I'm maybe a little bit more outgoing. I don't feel any fear in terms of introducing myself to others.
Yeah.
Do you feel the same? Like, do you feel like it's a struggle to meet people and make friends as an adult?
I have the weirdest group of friends. Like I have circles, like I call it pockets. I was telling you this. I have pockets of friends and they're all different. Yeah. And if they ever were in the same room together, they would be
get
like,
along.
who are you? What are you, like, how are you friends with her? Because they're all so different. Like I have work friends that we talk about completely different things with. Then I have one friend that I grew up with that I'm still friends with now. And same, we talk about completely different things. She knows everything about me, but like it's just different. And then I have the gym girls and they're different. And then I have my like the wives of all of my husband's friends and like they're different. But I get a bit of everything from each of them. So like last weekend I went out with some friends and like that I knew what energy I was going to generate when I was with them. Then with the other group I know what energy I'm going to get from them and vice versa. So you need that. You need to have different pockets of friends. And I see people that have the same group of friends. They go everywhere with them. They go on holidays, they go dinners, they go and I'm like
sometimes they're not their best. I'm like sometimes they're a bit toxic.
Yeah, they are. Too. And I've had feedback from these people saying like, you know, the people that I thought were going to wish me well actually didn't. I'm like, why are you still friends with them? Like, go somewhere else. And it's the same people on their stories, same people on their everything. And I'm like, how do you survive?
But it's also about how you process it as well. Like, as a great example, when I started my fitness journey, I decided I was going to give up drinking. Yeah. That was my thing. Yeah. Because I was a massive party girl, would just go out and get blind drunk. And when I moved into my kind of fitness era, as I like to call it, I was like, well, you know, alcohol has a lot of calories, you know, I'm going to stop drinking. And I remember a big group of my friends at the time were like, why you stopped, you know, why are you stopping that? You know, you're the life of the party. Like, and I was like, well, I can still be the life of the party.
Yeah.
but I don't need to be wasted
to
do that. And it was really interesting to see how many dead plants I was watering, so to speak.
Yeah.
And how many friends I
love
lost.
that analogy. Yeah.
And I think the same has occurred throughout the years as well, as my goals have changed, as I've moved house, as my, workplaces have changed and things like that. You get people drop off.
Yeah.
But that kind of makes room for people that do want to be a part of your tribe and that I do have a great time with. And like you, I have a lot of different pockets of friends as well. And like you, I know kind of what energy or what activities I've got friends that, we'll go to gigs, or festivals together. I've got friends that will go and have a bottomless brunch together, and like all different activities. And that's great. Like, that's such a fun time and a great thing to have. But I also don't go out of my way to make new friends either. It was really funny during COVID. I met this guy right before we couldn't move outside of our 5K.
Oh my God.
I met this guy.
That's not good.
I met this guy on Bumble, and he was just looking for a friend. Like, he was just looking for friends because he'd moved from the UK, and lovely guy. Anyway, we were doing a lot of walks through Bondi. He lived in Bondi. We're just having a chat, and he's just like, I'm just using the apps to find friends.
Yeah.
And I'd never even thought about it like that. But it was so nice because I knew that there was like nothing between us. But it was such an interesting way to make friends and something that I would probably never do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I don't feel like I need any more friends.
Yeah.
I feel like I have a lot of people in my life, and I also feel like I don't have enough time already to make time for all of those people in my life as well. So I guess like what kind of advice would you give to people that, are trying to make friends or meet people as an adult?
Just be open to speaking to different people because, you see it like if someone new comes that maybe doesn't look like what your typical friend would look like, they might bring you something that you've never experienced or a conversation that you would never think to have. And like we are total opposites as well, right? But if I judged you or thought I could never be friends with her, we wouldn't be sitting here today making this amazing stuff.
Yeah, how many people have said that about me?
Right? So just be open. Don't be in competition. I think a lot of women are in competition with each other. Just remove that. You don't have to compare yourself to anyone. You don't have to see which check boxes they've ticked versus how many you've ticked. We're in this together.
Stay in your own lane.
Yeah, that's right. And I think that's when you remove all of that, you can create a beautiful friendship and relationship that you both can benefit from.
And I think sometimes you've just got to step outside the square as well.
Yes.
You're never going to find your soulmate if you don't go on the dates.
Yeah.
Right? You're never going to make new friends if you don't go and do new activities, like go to the gym or do a group sport or something like that. Like if you want to, find somebody or meet a friend or do whatever, you have to get a little bit uncomfortable.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Even myself, I would say I'm a pretty confident person, but if I put myself in a new situation or a new environment, I absolutely get nervous.
Yeah.
If I'm going to check out a new gym for the first time and I don't know whether, the machines or the equipment, I'm nervous. Even coming here today, I was I don't really know this suburb. I have no idea. I'm on the phone to Sandra. I'm freaking out, and you get a bit nervous when you don't know. But if you don't do that, if you don't get uncomfortable, you won't experience. You won't experience, and sometimes that experience can lead to a beautiful relationship.
100%.
So I think that is the key: is to really step outside the square.
We're your example.
Exactly. So guys, if you've enjoyed today's episode, we would love to hear about it. We would love your feedback. So take a screenshot, post it on social media. We'll post our handles below. So tag us and let us know what you thought. See you next time.